time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
This episode is brought to you by PSE Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Cabela's,
Antler Action,
Spot Shooter Archery,
Tom's Custom Turkey Calls,
Family Traditions Tree Stands,
Badass Slingshots,
and Mossy Oak.
How do you improve on the Evo? You start with its DNA, then engineer a bow that is fast, lightweight, and features the best technology. The center lock 2 pockets are highly adjustable, light, and quiet. The riser, forged from ultralight aircraft aluminum, creates a bow that weighs a mere 3.7 pounds. The flex cable slide flexes during the draw cycle, relieving lateral torque. And the core hybrid cams deliver a blistering 352 feet per second. Introducing the new Dream Season DNA. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Let's talk face paint. What about face paint? How about the only 4-color applicator out there? Dead Downwind's new refillable 4-color no-touch paint system. Black? Got that. Green, gray, and brown? Got that. Did we mention it has 70% more paint than its competition? Why mess around? Just roll and apply. When you're finished, wipe, gone. 4-color no-touch applicator. 70% more paint. Refillable. Easy on, easy off. Want that? Get this. Ambush face paint. Dead Downwind. Guaranteed.
We know the future of hunting depends on our nation's youth. But did you know that in many states, it's illegal for you to take your son or daughter hunting until the age of 12 or even older? As a result, we have fewer young hunters, and the Families Afield program is designed to eliminate those barriers. Hunting is safe, and the safest hunters afield are young people with adult mentors. Visit our website at familiesafield.org to find out how you can bring more families afield.
Hey everybody, Dan and Mike here, back for another Minicast. We've been talking fishing. Anybody knows that they've gone to a fish store or heck, you go to any one of the department stores, Myers or something like that, and you go into the fishing section and it is just huge. But Cody with Team Kickerfish, we've been talking a little bit, and I kind of want to ask him a question about, and especially if you guys go to Cabela's, they have got like rows and rows of rubber baits, whether it be a frog, whether it be a salamander, whether it be a Cinco, whether it be whatever. How big, if you know, is this industry of rubber baits?
Huge.
Well, okay, so we know it's huge, obviously, because they got rows of it at Cabela's. And it comes in every different size, shape, form, color, sparkle, non-sparkle. The Cincos, I think, have something on them. It felt like it.
Some companies put a sauce on them or something.
So, this being said, I've never seen it, and the only thing I don't is why, because it's cheap. Mm-hmm. And so when you get into it, because how many did you go through this weekend?
I know I went through 50 of the baby bass Cincos, if not more. You burn through some baits. I mean, if you're catching fish, you're burning through some baits. They get tore up and they get ripped and they fling off. And
then they float to the bottom of the lake, and that's where they end.
Yep.
They lay there forever.
Yep.
But no, I was just curious because I think people want to know why, there's so many. It's like the hooks. Hooks are the same way. They got like hooks for everything, which is understandable depending on what you're doing. Treble hook, the hook with the little crank on the end.
All these companies, a lot of them will produce similar stuff, but then they've all got their own different designs and different actions. I mean,
are all Cinco? I'm using Cincos because that's what we use this weekend. Are all Cincos the same?
No, not at all. they can be the same shape and size, but the way they're poured with salt. I mean, the Yamamotos
Right.
are. If you bite a Yamamoto, you could pour it on your French fries. Basically, it's full of salt. And I believe he has a patent on that. And the way it just sinks like a rock. And
Oh, so he's got salt infused in the rubber.
yeah, and they're different. There's different shapes. And Strike King, they were making Ocho. It's not round. It's like an octagon. And it's a good bait. They make good stuff. And when you get into like the rodents, there's 100 different styles, different legs that do different things. Like the Pit Boss, they've got real little flappers, and when you're swimming, there's like 4 flappers that they're crawling.
Really?
And the Strike King rodent, they've got bigger flappers, and they've all got different actions.
Well, that's like the twister tails, right? The
Yeah.
bigger the, or you get some that, like you said, they got like the 4, and they got like a big one. Then you got like tube baits.
Yeah.
That looks like got all those
So,
fingers at the end.
when you're choosing one of the rubber baits, why a worm versus a frog or a rodent? I mean, what's that determining factor?
For me, it's what kind of lake I'm fishing and what kind of cover there is. And depending on like size of the fish, typically like Alum Creek in Ohio, you don't weigh that big compared to like Lake Guntersville in Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
The size of the fish is just off the chart different. You throw bigger bait, you catch bigger fish. And, we throw a lot of rules, small finesse tactics stuff around home. Not all the time. We'll throw giant jigs and big tubes and stuff like that. It's just a lot of condition, a lot of cover. Really just depends where you're at.
Okay.
If there's a lot of grass, then you kind of get into your frogs. If you're on a river system, throw a lot of frogs.
So a little background check as to where you're going to be fishing.
Yeah.
What might lead you to it.
Yeah.
See, and you'd think it's almost like hunting. Got something for everything.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, well, you are hunting. I mean, I kind of equated it to hunting for fish.
Absolutely. Like you said, well, when we weren't catching anything, we were like, well, that's why they call it fishing and
Yeah.
not catching.
We run trail cams. He runs electronics. He's got a mapping system. Like a GPS. Or a topo map where we're looking at land contours. He's looking at
Fish contours.
Well, the structure and everything that's under the water.
Yep.
So, yeah, you're hunting for fish.
Yeah.
So,
Well, no, that's my question. I wanted to ask him about the industry and the kind of the behind the scenes of it.
all right.
So that's why I wanted to talk to Cody.
Okay.
Team Kickerfish.
Kickerfish.
Sound good to you? So stay tuned for another episode of a Minicast down the road.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe until next week on the Up North Journal.